Right, man. Welcome to it. This is the Gentleman's Club, and of course, this is how we're breaking into the show. Shout out to the Breakfast Club and the Breakfast Show for holding it down, man, between 9 and 11 o'clock. Shout out to Ronnie and the team. And yeah, special show indeed. And of course, good luck to all of you who are preparing for that big day on Saturday. And of course, it's Valentine's Day, man. So much to talk about, especially on Valentine's Day. Shout out to the team for giving us some ideas on what to do, because I know so many people don't know what to do when it comes to the issues of Valentine's Day. It's tough. It's rough out there, man. It's rough. But it's all good, man. My name is Uncle Zach, and of course, I'm holding it down. The guys are busy again this week, and of course, Mr. Ronaldo Cortez has got a basketball gig that he's busy with, and of course he sent me stuff, some exciting stuff. He's got a private high school that he's going to be doing some coaching lessons for, and we appreciate you, Mr. Ronaldo Cortez. But we'll hear from him, and of course he's got some fashion tips that he's going to share with us. So today on the show, I'm flying solo. Mr. Malcolm, he's also busy at work today, so we'll see him next time when he comes through. So just to get the conversation going on the show today, I want to ask you, gents, there's something I've been checking out. So in fact, somebody said this to me, that they have never seen in a very long time where men my age group and slightly older are just not trying to get old. We just don't want to grow up. We don't want to get old. We're doing everything possible to try and look as young as possible. So the question is, and I posted it on Facebook, so I want to read your comments a little bit later. And so what is the question? The question is, guys, men, so name those things that men should stop doing, trying to look younger. So there's a couple of comments, and of course, interesting things. And there's some comments there I'll read a little bit later on. But one simple example that somebody said was, men must stay away from earrings. And somebody else said, men must stay away from wearing skinny pants. So skinny pants are out for older gents. Maybe not older, like maybe as soon as you pass the ages of 40, maybe you must stay away from skinny pants. I don't know. Maybe you've got the body for it. That's fine. So we'll look at those things. That's just one of the things I want us to talk about later on. But on the show today, so much to look forward to. Mr. Ronaldo Cortez is coming up to give us an update with regards to what's happening in the world of fashion and entertainment. He'll keep us updated about that. And we're also going to hear more on the Epstein files. Unfortunately, we are going to be talking about the Epstein files until some people are arrested. I know that there is a lady who was very friends, or actually she was married to this guy, Epstein, Jeffrey. Then they divorced, then they became friends. And then she actually enabled him to help him traffic these young kids to the island. So she's been arrested. She's been in prison for some time. And the Democrats are now asking that she must come to Parliament and explain to Parliament about what her involvement was. And of course, they are trying to see if Trump has been, as per the emails, that he's been named so many times, that he's been on the plane, he's been going to the island a couple of times. So they want to ask if she can confirm that indeed Donald Trump has been to the island a couple of times. So we'll hear what's the latest from Dylan about what the latest is. I also heard that two soccer players, one of them is still playing, one of them is a soccer owner who actually are also implicated in the Epstein files, and that's going to shock you. I'll tell you who that is a little bit later on. And then lastly, I want to look at the Super Bowl, man. I'll tell you, the Super Bowl was on Sunday. So much happened. There is a case that just got everybody talking, man. I can't believe Lewis Hamilton has gone and started a relationship with Kim Kardashian. But I'll tell you what, they had a public kiss that got everybody talking. So the Super Bowl, so much happened there, and I'll talk about it. So And here's an artist that nobody knows, but this year he cleaned out at the Grammys and, of course, winning Album of the Year. And all of a sudden, the man is now performing at the Super Bowl. His name is Bad Bunny. I don't know if you've heard about Bad Bunny, man. It was my first time I hear about this name. I thought it was just a Bad Bunny. Kanti, it's a guy, and it's a Spanish guy. And yeah, so much to talk about Bad Bunny, man. Trump also had his reviews about the Super Bowl and how he thinks it was, and I'll tell you all about what Trump's comments are. And of course, I'll look at the top 10 most viewed Super Bowl events that have happened. As we know, that Michael Jackson was the first one to kickstart. So I'll tell you the origins of how the Super Bowl came about. My buddy will give you a bit of a rundown as to how that came about, where the Super Bowl became a mega show on a halftime of this big sporting event. And of course, I'll also talk about which is bigger, the Super Bowl, or is it a Man City, Man United game, or Arsenal versus Man City game? Which one has the most amount of views? So we'll talk about that in a short while, man. So that's what we have on the show for you in the first hour. And that's what we're going to be talking about on the first hour right here on the Gentleman's Club. And the second hour, of course, I've got my guest who's going to join us. And his name is Didier. And Didier is a business coach, and he's a business executive coach. So he's going to help us make sense of how to, you know, because when the year starts, you think about resolutions, you think about all these things that you want to do. And of course, for business executives, they have targets, they have plans, they've got strategy meetings, they've got all these things they got to achieve in this year. So he is actually a coach to executives, and he's going to tell us how to up your game, what type of skills you need to improve, and so that you can be an efficient person in the workspace where you are working. So with that said, Mr. Ronaldo Cortez is standing by. He's standing by to give us the world of fashion and entertainment. And of course, this is Fashion Flow and Entertainment, news and local buzz with Mr. Ronaldo Cortez. How are you doing, my brother?
Fashion Flow and Entertainment, news, local buzz, and the power of creative seeds, written and read by myself, Ronaldo Cortez. There comes a moment in every generation when creativity stops asking for permission and starts building its own tables. That moment is now. Fashion and entertainment are no longer distant industries reserved for major capitals. They are living, breathing ecosystems growing right within our local communities. I, Ronaldo Cortez, see it clearly. Ideas are seeds at first. They are small, often overlooked, and easy for others to doubt. But every brand, every movement, every institution we admire today began as nothing more than a thought carried by someone disciplined enough to nurture it. The danger is not the ideas are too small. The danger is abandoning them before they take root. When planted with intention, watered with consistency, and protected by vision, ideas, they do grow. What began as a single creative spark can expand into what I call forests of equitable harvests. Spaces where opportunity is not limited to one person, but shared across designers, photographers, stylists, performers, marketers, and entrepreneurs. This is the new architecture of success. Creativity that creates access. Look around our local scenes, please. Fashion showcases are no longer just about garments. They are platforms for economic participation, entertainment events, and no longer just performances. They are marketplaces of connection. And behind every well-executed event is a network of skilled individuals turning creativity into livelihood. Local buzz should never be underestimated. Noise becomes attention, attention becomes influence. Influence, when guided correctly, becomes legacy. But forests do not grow by accident. They require leadership. They require individuals willing to think beyond personal applause and focus instead on building environments where others can rise. True creative power is not measured by how brightly one person shines, but by how many candles are lit from that same flame. Too many chase visibility. Too many chase visibility, and without structure. Yet what sustains growth is professionalism, showing up prepared, respecting time, honoring collaboration, and understanding that reputation travels faster than marketing ever will. And in fashion, presentation speaks before you do. In entertainment, energy introduces you before your name is announced. And in entrepreneurship, execution is the only language that separates dreamers from builders. I believe strongly in refining transferable skills, communication, leadership, adaptability, strategic thinking, because these are the tools that allow a simple idea to scale into ecosystem. We must also challenge ourselves to move from consumers of culture into architects of it. Ask yourself, what am I planting today? It is discipline. It is knowledge. It is partnership. It is courage, because the harvest will always reveal the quality of the seed. There is also something powerful about building from where you stand. You do not need the biggest stage to begin. You need the clearest commitment. Some of the most influential movements in history were born in overlooked spaces by people who refused to believe that geography determined greatness. Our communities are not short on talent. What we must strengthen is belief, structure, and collaboration. And when creative minds align with shared purpose, industries form. When industries form, economies follow. And when economies grow, from creativity, dignity expands with them. This is why I often remind emerging leaders, think long-term. Trends fade, but institutions endure. Chase mastery, not moments. Let your work mature so deeply that it outlives applause. The future of fashion and entertainment will belong to those who understand that creativity is both art and infrastructure. Expression on one hand, opportunity on the other. So nurture your ideas without apology. Protect your vision without arrogance. Collaborate with insecurity and build without fear, because when seeds are planted with intention, forests are inevitable. And within those forests stand creative, equitable harvests. Proof that what began as imagination is now sustaining lives, opening doors, and shaping futures. This is Fashion Flow and Entertainment. This is News and Local Buzz. And I am Ronaldo Cortez, reminding you that the greatest movements are not found, they are grown.
Absolutely beautiful, my brother. Thank you very much for that information, Mr. Ronaldo Cortez. He's back again next week with us, hopefully with his new project that's underway. We wish him all the best, Mr. Ronaldo Cortez. All right, man, let's get back to it, man. All right, so let's take a look at what's happening in terms of the latest, in terms of Epstein files. My friend Dylan is standing by to give us an update with regards to the crazy things that are happening in the Epstein files. More information has been leaked, and I'll tell you why. What I heard was that there are 2 soccer players who are now fingered in the Epstein files. I'll tell you about them. And of course, these are people we love and admire. And I tell you, we love these guys. Like, these guys are the ultimate guy. Like, one of them, actually both of them, are the guys that I really like. Really cool guys, but I'm very disappointed, I must say. I don't like them anymore. But let's hear what Dylan had to say, because he's standing by to give us the latest with regards to the Epstein file. It's crazy, man. We are waiting for arrests to happen, and we'll see how this goes about it, man.
Finally, some actual big revelations came from the latest dump of Epstein files. So here are the 4 main things that you need to know about, and get locked in, because this one's kind of wild. First key takeaway: holy shit, we actually got emails between FBI personnel mentioning 10 possible co-conspirators of Epstein. And that's actually a huge development, because up until now, the official narrative from the Department of Justice has always been, there's no one else. There's Epstein, there's Maxwell. In fact, earlier just this year, Kash Patel testified under oath that there was no credible information that Epstein trafficked young women to anyone else other than himself. In fact, it got to the point where the majority of these 10 co-conspirators were served with subpoenas by the FBI. Frustratingly, though, a lot of these names were actually redacted, which also raises a lot of questions because we were told that all of these redactions were supposed to protect victims, not the alleged co-conspirators. Now, why the FBI stopped pursuing these people like they were doing in 2019 is unknown. Second key takeaway is that Trump is actually mentioned a lot in these files that dropped last night, unlike the first batch. Now, to be clear, there are a number of documents from these files which mention Trump that are either tips or just unproven allegations, but also pieces that are verifiably false, and we'll get into that in a second. But one of the most credible things so far is that in a 2020 email, a federal prosecutor spoke about receiving new flight records showing that Trump had traveled on Epstein's jet many more times than even they were previously aware of. Again, still no smoking gun, but geez, is starting to get dicey now. Third is that there was a wild email in these files from someone who described themselves only as Invisible Man and just the letter A. And they were asking Ghislaine Maxwell if she had found any new inappropriate friends for them yet. And we know that this person has got to be pretty important because they were at a summer camp at the time of sending this email for the royal family. Yeah. And then the fourth and last key takeaway is the pretty strange behavior of how the Department of Justice is actually releasing these files. Firstly, they broke the law by releasing these in multiple batches and not just all at once. Secondly, they heavily redacted a lot of questionable information. They've poorly redacted a lot of these pages, and people are literally getting around the redactions now by simply copying and then pasting the text into their notes and seeing what's underneath those bars. And then, most bizarrely, especially from last night, they're including files that are verifiably fake. For example, there was this letter that was purportedly sent by Epstein to Larry Nassar, and there's a whole thing going into there, as well as a fake video showing Epstein in his prison cell. Both of them, they say, are fake. And so that really starts to raise questions about why or how these were allowed to be included if even they are saying that they are fake. What do you guys think? Are we getting closer, or is it just, again, more fluff?
Thank you very much, Dylan, for all that update. And of course, some scary stuff happening there with these Epstein files. And I mean, I was talking to a colleague of mine right now, or my colleagues right now, about how much of the nonsense is still probably kept away from us. And of course, as you see, the files, when they come, some of the names are being blacked out, and some information that is quite critical that's coming out has been blacked out. So, and I've seen that people actually, they take the files and then they copy it and then they go and paste it somewhere with the hope, oh, we've got somebody. Yeah, you can tell him to come in. All right, so yeah, we've seen that, people are copying this and they're trying to see who the names are and so on. And I heard I don't know how true this is, but apparently Lionel Messi and David Beckham, they are the two sporting guys that are appearing on this very terrible files that belong to Epstein. And of course, in those Epstein files, there has been emails that talk about babies, and it's probably one of the most difficult things to talk about on radio because of how cruel this world is. And so very sad indeed to hear exactly what is happening in our world, and especially we'll be keeping an eye on what's happening with regards to the Epstein files as we move along, man. Okay, so let's quickly pay the bills, and it is Valentine's nonetheless in the next 2 days or so, and lucky are the ones that are prepared for Valentine's Day. We'll talk about it a little bit later on. And listen to what you can do and what you can win with us right here on Bogart Radio. Let's take a break.
This month of love, you have the chance to win with Bogart Radio.
When the city's asleep, before the grind gets going.
Cheers, bro. Cheers. Thanks, mama.
We already moving. Flipping switches, turning rooms into world stages. We don't crack under pressure. We crush it. We lock in and dial out what we must. From beats on stage in the spotlight to face beats in the close-up.
And there we go, guys.
Ooh, I like that.
Making every shot count. Cause the 9 to 5 is just the start. Numa kanjani. We move, we level up. When the beat drops, we get up. Namaje. Cause when the get up meets the go, anything is possible.
The whole country and of course the whole world has been talking about the Super Bowl, okay? So it is the dream place for every big artist to actually perform in front of the baseball, the sport, the American football. And what we've seen is that people like Michael Jackson were the first people, well, the first performance was done by Michael Jackson back in the 90s. And of course, today, more than 125 million people get to watch the NFL halftime Super Bowl. And let me tell you where this comes from, okay? You would never guess how the Super Bowl halftime performance came about. Like, to look like what it does today was because of a black guy. And I mean, if you remember In Living Color, if you remember the Wayans brothers, they had a major influence on what today the Super Bowl looks like. And they don't even get credit for it. But let me tell you how this all came about.
Super Bowl halftime show, as you know it, is only a thing because of a sketch comedy show from the 90s, and the story behind it is so fascinating. So before 1993, the Super Bowl halftime show was very mediocre. There were C-list celebrities, marching bands, flyovers. No one stuck around to watch the halftime show, and it certainly wasn't a part of the overall Super Bowl experience like it is today. In the early 90s, Keenan Ivory Wayans created a show called A Living Color. And if you don't know who Keenan Ivory Wayans is, he's a legend, he's an icon, he's a trailblazer. And this show was so big and successful, and it ended up launching the careers of some people that you may have heard of, like Jim Carrey, Jamie Foxx, Tommy Davidson, David Alan Grier, Chris Rock. They had dancers on the show called the Fly Girls. And when I was a little kid, I definitely had a crush on a few of the Fly Girls. But there was one in particular that went on to make quite a name for herself. And her name was Jennifer Lopez. J-Lo got her start on In Living Color. What does all this have to do with the Super Bowl halftime show? One year, Keenan and his staff had the idea to create a Super Bowl halftime show on a separate channel. They thought the Super Bowl garnered so much viewership, but people had nothing to do during halftime. So they created a Super Bowl halftime sketch comedy / music show on a separate channel, and they called it the In Living Color Super Halftime Show. There was comedy, there was performances, they even had a timer on the screen to let you know when the game was coming back on. The show was a massive hit. They end up pulling in 20 million viewers in that 12-minute time frame that switched from the Super Bowl to a separate channel and then back to the Super Bowl. The NFL definitely took notice to this. The very next year in 1993, they booked the biggest artist in the universe, Michael Jackson. And that was the beginning of the Super Bowl halftime show that you all know today. Big shout out to Keenan Ivory Wayans. I don't think he gets enough credit. I don't think the Wayans family gets enough credit, but they are responsible for so much, and he definitely deserves his flowers. This is a real dope story to me.
Shout out, my brother. Thank you so much for those interesting views as to how this mega show has come about. All right, so let me give you the numbers so that you understand how big the Super Bowl is, okay? So, all right, so I've seen a couple of people putting together their own top 10 Super Bowl halftime shows. So let's start at number 10. So at number 10 was Madonna. And then, actually, this one doesn't have the numbers. So let me give you the one that has proper numbers. I'll start at number 5. Katy Perry, Super Bowl 2015 was 118.5 million people viewed the game, viewed the performance. And Rihanna came in 2023 with 121 million views. And Usher in 2024 had 123 million people watching it. And Michael Jackson had, in 1993, had 133.4 million people viewing the game. And number one was Kendrick Lamar last year. And when he blew things up last year, and of course, with 133.4 million views for the Super Bowl. All right. So, and of course, we thought the guy who came in, Bad Bunny, he's going to, I mean, I didn't know who Bad Bunny was. I don't know. Ladies, did you guys know who Bad Bunny is? You knew who he was? Yeah. What? Okay. I didn't know who he was. I'm sorry, man. I just saw this guy. He won Album of the Year at the Grammys. And the next thing, he is performing right there. But let me tell you, a lot of Americans were not so impressed with Bad Bunny's performance. But before that, the first guy who was really not impressed with Bad Bunny was Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, what did he say? He says, it was absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. So he says the Super Bowl halftime show is absolutely terrible. One of the worst ever. It makes no sense in an upfront to the greatness of America. I mean, we know that Trump is trying to kick everybody out using ICE. And now all of a sudden you bring Mexicans to the halftime show. Can you imagine how aggravating this is? He's trying to get rid of all the immigrants. And now you bring and celebrate all the immigrants in front of Trump. Trump was not going to take it. He says, nobody understands a word this guy is saying. And the dancing is disgusting, especially for young children that are watching from throughout the USA and all over the world. This show is just a slap in the face. Donald Trump, man. And apparently some Americans, when they try to translate the music, right, some of the words, when you translate them from Spanish to English, they're actually very provocative. And also, I heard also that one of the legends was watching it, and this is Denzel Washington. Apparently, he stood up and he said, "What nonsense is this?" Because people were gyrating everywhere, and it was just a bit of an eyesore, especially when you had to translate some of the words. So it was crazy, man. And but nonetheless, a lot of people tuned in to watch it, and but also here's why a lot of people also watched it is because Lewis Hamilton has got a new girl, and this new girl has been around for many years and has been passed on from one dude to the other, man. And I'm talking about this girl. She's pretty, she's hot. I mean, tell me about her, man. She is something else. But this girl has just got a bad reputation. Not only does she have a bad reputation, but her whole family has a bad reputation. I don't know who gets married into the Kardashians, because I tell you, if you get married into the Kardashians, they're going to give you a panty. They're going to turn you into something else, dog. They're going to just treat you like nothing. That's why Kanye had to run. And he even had a mental health problem because it's just crazy. Can you imagine how much the mother, Kim Kardashian's mother, is so controlling over her girls? So now you as a guy, and most of the guys have not been able to stick around with the relationship with her siblings. But nonetheless, the 2026 Super Bowl didn't just deliver Gradion drama. It also became a backdrop for a major celebrity moment when Kim Kardashian and Lewis Hamilton were spotted sitting together in a VIP suite, instantly setting social media on fire. Fans and viewers around the world quickly shared their photos and clips from the event as speculation about the possible romance was shown live on our TV screens. It was a lot to talk about, man. So, yeah, people had a lot to say about Kim, and some people were even issuing warnings to Lewis Hamilton. They were saying, run, brother, run, brother. And we don't know what he's in for, man. So, nonetheless, here's another American guy, what he had to say about the Super Bowl, man. And he's saying it was the best ever, but such mixed emotions about this, man. So let's take a listen to what he had to say.
Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show was the greatest halftime show ever. It had Bad Bunny, one of the greatest singers of all time, Ricky Martin, one of the greatest singers of all time, Lady Gaga, one of the greatest singers of all time, and one of the greatest actresses of all time, Jessica Alba, was there. Are you kidding me? This was the greatest halftime show that we've ever had for a Super Bowl. It was fantastic. I mean, how could you possibly be mad at this? This doesn't make any sense. It was perfect, beautiful music. That's what we want for a halftime show. And it had a great message. We stand together, united together, United States together. I love it. The Spanish was fantastic. And if you don't habla español, even muy poquito, then you better start. Come on. Comprendo? Come on. But anyway, it was absolutely beautiful. I loved it. And hey, W Bad Bunny, Lady Gaga, Ricky Martin, of course, W Jessica Alba. But what did you guys think about Bad Bunny's halftime show? It was the greatest of all time, right? Let me know in the comments.
All right, man. Thank you very much for that update. And of course, that's what went down. And of course, shout out to Bad Bunny and all the celebrities that were there. And of course, I've just been corrected. Bad Bunny is from Puerto Rico. And here is how he thanked all the Spanish countries that are forming part of that South America. And of course, we know South Americans are beautiful people, man. Oh, good Lord. Tell me about it.
God bless America. Sea Chile, Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, Bolivia, Perú, Ecuador, Brasil, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Panamá, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, México, Cuba, República Dominicana, Jamaica, Haití, las Antillas, United States, Canadá, a my motherland, mi patria, Puerto Rico. Seguimos aquí.
Shout out to Bad Bunny, man. I've just been schooled here that the man has just set up a political message to Donald Trump. And of course, telling him that all these Spanish people that he wants to kick out are actually Americans. And of course, these are people that are maids, they are cleaners, they do all the stuff in America. And of course, they keep the Americans, in check. And of course, shout out to the Super Bowl. And there's also some mixed feelings. And I mean, I saw some country singers who were not impressed with Jay-Z simply because of what Jay-Z has done, because Jay-Z is the one that selects performances for the Super Bowl. So it was a big problem from some of these American country singers who were not happy with what was going on with regards to the performance that came from the Super Bowl. So we'll just get to see how they handle it going forward, especially going into next year. So let's quickly take a break. When we come back, I want to check out your comments. And of course, I saw your comments on my Facebook. What you ladies had to say about us, the guys who just don't want to get old. What are the things that we should stop as men, especially when we try to look young? God damn, we try too much, man. There's some guys you see, you're like, chief. Just sit this one out, chief. You are old, chief. You are old. I mean, a friend of mine and I, we both, we just look like we are in our 50s, man. I mean, gray hair and stuff. And sometimes we have to remind each other that we are actually old, chief, But we'll read your comments and see how you ladies see us, the gray bearded dudes who just don't want to get old. All right, so let's quickly take a break. When we come back, we'll talk and read your comments.
This month of love, you have the chance.
When the city's asleep, before the grind gets going.
Cheers, bro. Thanks, mama.
We already moving. Flipping switches, turning rooms into world stages. We don't crack under pressure. We crush it. We lock in and dollar what we must.
Parliament, because it's happening there in Parliament. Quickly, Paul O'Sullivan had to, the number one mystery guy, like Paul O'Sullivan's like 007. He's bigger than James Bond. He's got 3 passports. He's old. He doesn't even have a matric. No, okay, maybe he has a matric, but he doesn't have qualifications. But this man's got the biggest and best jobs you can think about. So we'll talk about Paul O'Sullivan when we come back. So ladies, thank you so much for your comments. We really appreciate it. And we'll mention you. So name the things that men should stop doing trying to look younger. All right. So Johnson Renee says dyeing their hair, beard, jet black after 50-ish, leave a little bit of salt for seasoning, she says. And then Elizabeth says putting that dead body chalk line around the painted on beard and hair, let it go. All right, I don't know if some guys do that. Okay, please stop dyeing that beard. Grown men love a salt and pepper beard. Now, if we are not your target audience, carry on. Okay, so these are just purely ladies wearing skinny jeans and spraying on the hairline. Okay, cool. I know that our hairline keeps moving back. I've given up on my hair growing back, man. So I hear you, ladies, but I won't even try to do that hair thing. I've even seen like guys put on like a glue and then they glue some hair on. Ay, gents, come on, let it go, man. And then, all right, so interesting one. Rob says, I think men shouldn't worry about anybody's opinion. We age to perfection. Thank you, Rob. Somebody needed to protect us. All right. Apparently, we must stay away from cornrows. When you are older, stay away from cornrows. All right. Okay. A lot of them are talking about guys dyeing their hair. And Angela says, the gray is the new sexy. And then Monique says, get rid of those earrings and a bunch of chains and rings. I mean, I saw a guy at gym last night. I don't know why he was wearing chains and he was wearing bracelets and like big gold chains in gym. Hey, okay, so apparently here's another interesting one. Guys, get rid of those do-rags. I don't know how a guy can still wear do-rag and you're over 40. But anyway, okay, skinny jeans keeps coming up. Spraying the hair keeps coming up. And yeah, interesting. I didn't see anything about guys that are old dating young girls that we should stay away from them. Clearly, that's not the problem here. The problem is the skinny jeans and the cornrows and the dyeing of the beard. So thank you very much for your comments. We really appreciate it, ladies. So, all right. So just a quick one. To keep you updated, before our guest comes in, Mr. Paul O'Sullivan is facing parliamentary committee because they've been trying to get him to come and report to Parliament. Now, those of you who don't know, Mr. Paul O'Sullivan is like a double agent. Mr. Paul O'Sullivan had everybody who matters. And I mean, from Jackie Silebi, the police commissioners, the police ministers, your generals in the SAPs, and maybe even the NPA, the SIU, like Paul O'Sullivan had anybody and everybody under his pocket. And so Paul used to get away with a lot of things. He got away with so many things that he thought that he was actually the king. And eventually some people were like, you know what, Paul is a white old man and he's getting away with too much, and he needs to be, there are too many things that are being said about him. So he must come and face the parliamentary committee meeting. So he was overseas. He took forever to come to South Africa. And eventually yesterday, he came into Parliament and faced the MPs, and he was not having it. He thought that they were interrogating him. Meanwhile, I mean, he was there for that reason, but he was just being very difficult old white man. So let's take a listen to what he had to say. I mean, this is what he said to these guys.
I'm going to withdraw my cooperation. I'm not going to assist in a kangaroo court. I came here to give evidence about the corruption in the criminal justice system, which has resulted in the mess that we have in the criminal justice system today. And the false allegations that have been made against me will take, I don't know, a lot more than an hour to go through. And if it's going to be curtailed because people don't want to hear the truth, it means what we're actually doing is we're not allowing a witness to explain why this happened and why that happened. What I cannot contemplate is that everyone should think, oh, I woke up one day and decided to infiltrate IPID and infiltrate the police and infiltrate the National Prosecuting Authority, because that pack of lies has been peddled in this House by multiple witnesses who belong in prison. And because I've taken steps, as I'm entitled to do according to the law, to ensure that they face up to the criminal charges that have been opened against them, not just by me, but by others as well. It's imperative, in my opinion, Chairman, that the full story be given, not half the story, or I didn't come here just to defend myself against the allegations of these criminals. And if that's the only thing that this committee wants to hear, it's a problem, because the reality is that those allegations were only made against me because I took steps to hold them accountable for their criminal conduct. Thank you, Chair.
All right, man. One thing you got to note is that Paul O'Sullivan is not holding back, and he is telling the members of parliament exactly what is in his mind. And South Africans, you had to say a lot about his conduct in parliament last night or yesterday as they finished at about 8 p.m. And of course, a lot of MPs were not happy with what he had to say. But what you South Africans had to say, Johan says he's 100% correct. The problem is that they are all part of corruption. The real question is, where's Mr. Ashley Souls? And he was panicking and choosing who becomes a criminal and who does not. In his eyes, Shadrach Sibiya is the most cleanest cop. We know that he's been protecting Sibiya for some time. And then Z says he must get arrested as soon as possible. Anthony says, does he even know what is a kangaroo court? And then Tabza says, very true, kangaroo court, South Africa is a joke. And Sandak says, everybody needs to relax. Nothing will happen to nobody, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. All right, Senzo says, I think he is beyond the law. And of course, those are your comments. So last one says, in some way he's correct. There are corrupt factions in SAPS, criminal justice, and the very same Parliament ad hoc committee. So those are the problems that we are seeing and reading up on, especially when it comes to the issues of the Madlanga Commission, as well as the evidence that is brought towards us, especially in that ad hoc committee. A lot is going to be coming out of the can this year, and we'll see if people will be arrested. All right, so standing by Mr. Rabbi Road, he's got the news for us to tell us what's happening in the world of news and of course, what's happening in national news as well as local news. Mr. Rabbi Road, good morning to you, brother.
Thank you, Uncle Zach, for the Gentleman's Club on Bogart Radio. This is Ditaba, bringing you the latest international, national, and local headlines. My name is Rabbi Road. On international news, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa was on a telephone call on Tuesday with Russian President Vladimir Putin about the ongoing war in Ukraine. During their call, Ramaphosa reiterated South Africa's long-standing position that the conflict must end through negotiated peace and diplomacy, not violence. The two leaders also pledged cooperation on the safe return of South Africans who have been fighting alongside Russian forces in Ukraine. Teams from both countries will continue engagements to finalize this process. South Africa's approach, maintaining dialogue with all parties while advocating for peace, was reflected strongly in the call. In addition, President Ramaphosa welcomed ongoing efforts to deepen trade and investment ties with Russia, signaling that economic cooperation remains a key pillar of the bilateral relationship. Still on international news, in the United States, President Donald Trump has warned that he could block the opening of a major bridge connecting the US and Canada, even though he once touted it as a vital economic link. The Gordie Howe International Bridge, linking Windsor in Ontario with Detroit in Michigan, is nearing completion and is expected to ease trade and travel between the two countries. But Trump insists Washington should receive compensation and partial ownership of the project before allowing it to open, a demand that has drawn sharp criticism from Canadian officials. Trump's comments come amid broader tensions with Canada over trade issues like tariffs and concerns about foreign investment. Critics say Trump's threats risk undermining decades-old cooperation between two of the world's closest economic partners. On national news, Paul O'Sullivan's testimony in Parliament continues. Forensic investigator Paul O'Sullivan is on day 2 of his appearance before Parliament's ad hoc committee. On Tuesday, he was questioned about his background, his organizations, and allegations that he acted as a foreign agent or had undue influence on South Africa's criminal justice institutions. O'Sullivan firmly denied that he has ever worked as a spy or foreign agent in South Africa, telling MPs that he has lived in the country for 4 decades and that his loyalty is to South Africa. He stressed that although he holds 3 citizenships, South African, Irish, and British, he has never performed any foreign intelligence activities here. He explained his multiple passports were for practical travel reasons, not because of any clandestine work, and rejected claims that he was connected to foreign agencies such as MI6, simply saying, "I was never a spy." O'Sullivan also clarified the funding of his non-profit, Forensics for Justice, saying the organization has never received foreign donations and is funded primarily by local support and modest contributions. One of the most talked about moments came when he confirmed that in the late 1990s, he trained President Cyril Ramaphosa as a police reservist, teaching courses on criminal law, police administration, and investigation, a disclosure that drew intense interest from members of parliament. The hearing turned tense at times, especially when O'Sullivan refused to answer questions about his life and activities before 1990, citing concerns for his personal and family safety. Some committee members rejected that limitation, insisting he must answer fully under oath. On local news, right here in the city of Johannesburg, the water supply crisis has taken a new turn as employees of Johannesburg Water have gone on strike over bonus disputes. As the city battles ongoing service delivery challenges, including low reservoir levels and intermittent supply in some areas, workers are demanding clarity and settlement on bonus payments they say are owed. The strike has interrupted operations at several facilities and stirred concern among residents already struggling with dry taps in parts of the metro. Joburg Water on Tuesday confirmed that a strike involving members of COSATU affiliate, the South African Municipal Workers Union, SAMU, started on Friday following an approved general meeting. City officials have urged both sides back to the negotiating table, warning that prolonged industrial action will only compound the impact on a public already feeling the strain. Residents are encouraged to use water sparingly until the dispute is resolved. For the Gentlemen's Club, that's Ditaba. This has been your world, your nation, and your city. My name is Rabbi Road. Uncle Zach, back to you in studio.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Rabbi Road, for that comprehensive news update with what's happening in the world of news. And of course, some of those issues, I did speak about them earlier on, and thank you very much for that. All right, so let's quickly take a break. When we come back, I'm going to introduce our guest. He is here, standing by. We're about to have an awesome conversation with him. And let's do this. And I want to remind you, those of you who will be celebrating Valentine's, because not everybody celebrates Valentine's Day. Not everybody's in a relationship, so not everybody believes in that day. And of course, there's a men's conference coming up on the 13th that guys are going to on Thursday. They won't be around Friday and Saturday. They've been invited to a men's conference just to get away from Valentine's Day celebrations. I've never seen so many men complain about one single day. Come on, gents. It's not that difficult. It's not that deep. But anyway, if you don't have any plans, here are what you can win with us right here on Bogart Radio.
This month of love, you have the chance to win with Bogart.
Made for confidence, built for distinction. And now you can win a pair of your own. Just follow at Bogart Man Official on all platforms. Post your Bogart inspired look that needs a pair of Bogart Man shades and tag us, because true style doesn't shout, it speaks quietly with power. Bogart Man, enough said. T's and C's apply.
All right. Thank you very much. And of course, do participate in all those activities and win yourself some cool prizes with us here on Bogart Radio. And of course, do make sure that you participate and download the app and engage with us on the app and win some cool prizes. All right. So our guest is standing by is here, Mr. Didier, and I'll tell you a little bit about him, and because he's a really interesting guy. All right, so he owns a company called Lead Influence, and Lead Influence was founded by Didier Mbayo, who is a certified John MaxwellCoach with a master's in communications law from Vet University, with more than 17 years experience in legal and regulatory affairs in telecoms. Didier brings deep insight and resilience, having arrived in South Africa with just under $200 and a refugee document, learned English independently, and earned a law degree. So what is the mission for Lead Influence? To empower millions of organizations across Africa by delivering transformative coaching and leadership training that equips people to lead with impact. Their core values: respect. We see the potential in every client and treat them with dignity and belief. Integrity. We commit to honest, value-driven partnerships with our clients. Care. We go beyond knowledge. We show genuine care for each client's growth. Excellence. We deliver high-quality, tailored services that exceed expectations. So, Mr. Didier, thank you very much for joining us right here on the Gentleman's Club. Welcome back once again. Thank you very much, sir. I hope you're keeping well. Happy New Year to you, and so good to see you.
Yeah, I'm keeping well, and I'm so glad to be again on this show. Mm-hmm. And I thank you for the opportunity, and I hope that the discussion that we're going to have will be great for the listener.
Absolutely. All right, so let's jump right into it. And of course, there's a weekly newsletter that you release every year. And of course, in this newsletter, you inform your clients about your views on a specific topic. And you've released one in January. Tell us about that, and maybe we can go into further discussions around it.
Okay, I think the one in January was talking about goals.
Yes.
Yeah, so goals are quite important. And I believe that if somebody doesn't have goal, I'm so sorry, he's never going to become anybody. He will really drift, just like an aeroplane will leave or a tumble without a direction. Yeah, it's just going to end up anywhere. So goals are important because it gives you a sense of purpose. It gives you also a sense of direction where you're going. And it also helps you to really tap into your potential. Because you will never know what you're capable of until you set goals. And I think one of the things that I always stress, don't set a goal that is easy. You know how to reach it. Then it's not a goal, because there is no creativity, there is no you don't get yourself in an uncomfortable zone. A goal should be something that is really aggressive, something that gets you out of your comfort zone, something that move you to be very creative, to be able to think differently, because your new you this year in 2026 cannot be the same repeat of 2025, 2024. It can't be the same. Then if you keep repeating the same scenario in 2026, then you have a problem.
Absolutely. How do you go about setting up the goals? Like, do you first need to ask yourself, who are you? What do you want? Like, is it an inside job?
It's definitely an inside job. So the goal, usually when you set it up, is like, it's an intellectual exercise. I mean, companies set goals, individuals set goals. Now, you have to firstly look at, what do you really want? Because you need to have a clear purpose in life, knowing exactly what you want. Because once you have a clear purpose, which we call usually a vision of your life, that vision is what's going to inform the goal that you set. Because if, for example, if I have a vision of running a company that will make 500 million rand, so that is my vision, impacting millions and millions of people's lives. That vision of 500 million rand can now be divided into, let's say, in 10 years. In 10 years, I want to reach 500 million, which means I have to make 50 million every year. And that 50 million every year can be divided into 12 months. And those 12 months can be divided in week, in days. Then we can know if you're really working toward the goal. It's easy for companies to be able to check their sales team if they are really up to the game. And that applies also for individual. So you need to be clear as to what you want to achieve in life. From there, you can now set the goal that will dictate the kind of action that you need to take.
So, all right. So now that we're in the month of March, this is where on a month-to-month basis, you would have to, month of February, but does that mean that you got to review your goals on a monthly basis to see your progress?
Yes, definitely. My take on this is every month you need to do a quality check. Where am I? You see, this is the only way you can see the gap. You can see your actions during the month. And I think the best way to go is usually to set a goal for a week. You see, looking at the year, that can be daunting. Set a goal for the week. This is what I want to achieve this week. And then the week after, and so forth. Then you can look at the month and in retrospective and say, okay, this is what I've been able to achieve. Great. Next month, how much of my time and effort is required? And then you go, step by step. And I will encourage people to usually go in a form of a sprint. You see, like an athlete. So you give yourself like 3 weeks of sprinting toward the goal, doing every massive action, and take 1 week break. Because remember, the reason why people feel exhausted sometimes in the middle of the year is because they don't take time to have a break. So give yourself a sprint, then a break, then sprint, a break, a sprint, a break. Then you go on a holiday maybe for 2 weeks somewhere, or you stay at home. Just the time to recalibrate and recharge your energy.
Very interesting, because often people are very slow to actioning goals. And you're saying you must actually sprint and have high impact very quickly and then take a break. Now, how do you, just practically, what works best with your clients? Writing goals on paper, or writing goals on a phone, or writing goals on a laptop? Because they always say, write your goals and put them up somewhere where you can see them. So what works for your clients?
For my client, what works is writing the goal in their notebook and putting because remember, we carry the phone everywhere we go. So having the goal also on the phone, the best way to keep yourself in tune with your goal, put a reminder that keep reminding you every day, this is the goal. Because you see, a goal, it's something that is, you have set a goal, but it's in the physical, you haven't seen it. So you need to have something that gets you in tune with the goal by just looking at the your phone, and then emotionally getting aligned with the goal. You see, because anything that emotionally gets you involved will move you to action.
Yeah. I mean, I think they mentioned it in Think and Grow Rich as well, that you got to emotionally feel something in order for it to actually come alive. So when, because I'm thinking on a day-to-day basis, I mean, I'm just thinking for myself. I'll have my own personal goals, then I'll have my weekly plans, then I have my daily plans. But what I'm realizing is that how much administration actually it is to actually keep your goals on check. So, and as you speak, I'm thinking goal setting is like setting up your own business plan. It's like a personal business plan in a way. And how do you manage a day-to-day basis? Because sometimes you have these goals and then there are often emergency things that pop up, and somebody else's emergency now becomes your emergency. Now you end up doing a task for 4 hours in the day and you have not actually done what you have set out to do. How do you manage the two?
Well, it's a good question, Uncle Zach.
Yeah.
When you have set a goal, so the goal cannot be something that you just set, you take a piece of paper and then you throw it in your shelf or whatever you want to place it. The whole purpose is that every day there should be a behavior and there should be actions that display that you really work on the goal. Okay? And I like the fact that you say that there are emergencies that happen. They are very good tools today when we talk about productivity. Productivity is something that is not far-fetched. Productivity is based on I don't know if you heard about the Eisenhower table from the former president Eisenhower.
Okay.
So the former president, because he's a busy man, he had to come up with a tool that will allow him to be very effective. So that tool is called Eisenhower table. So it's got 4 quadrants. You can look for it on Google or YouTube. It's got 4 quadrants.
Oh, okay.
4 quadrants. One urgent, important, non-urgent, and not important but urgent, and then not important and not urgent.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah. So those tools are there to help you identify what are my key income activity that I need to perform that move the needle.
Yeah.
Because you need to know them. There is also another tool that is called the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, which says 20% of our effort produce 80% of your result. In a very simple term, you walk in your wardrobe, you will notice that you always wear 20% of your clothes.
True.
Often. In your house, you will probably spend 20% of your time in your bedroom, but you will not be 100% in the whole house. So your job is to identify what are my 20% that generate my 80% of my result.
Yeah.
And then only focus on this. Only every day when you come, you need to do those activities that move the needle. You see, we live in a world where people want to be busy for the sake of being busy.
Very true.
People are just all over the place doing so many things, and it's a form of distraction.
Yeah.
People are avoiding to work on the hard stuff, which they know this is required for my goal to move. But for some reason, they end up taking other people's emergency as the emergency, while they shouldn't be doing that. So it's your job to be a custodian of your key income activity that you have to perform on a daily basis, on a weekly and on a monthly basis.
Yeah. And how should your personality be in defending your goals? Especially when you say somebody comes and says, please help me with this. Please, it's urgent to them, but it's not to you. It's important to them, but it's not important to you. Should you know how to say no more often?
Well, I think there is no substitute to that. I mean, saying no should be part of your mode. Actually, the way you should operate is always say no to someone and then give a yes after that.
Okay.
Because when you start with a no, it gives you the ability to change that no to the person who was requesting after you've looked at your calendar and say, well, I can accommodate that. Because once you say yes, going back to a no, you become a person that do not keep his or her word.
Yeah.
You see where is the problem?
True.
So I always advise everyone to say no at the beginning, especially when you don't know anything about your calendar. Just don't commit.
Yeah.
And just go and check your calendar, and then if you think that you have the bandwidth and you can accommodate the request, then it's fine. You see, but of course, we work in an environment where we have other colleagues. How you say it matter more. Because if you say it with some sort of condescending tonality, or you are aggressive, of course it's not going to be received in a good way.
Sure.
But if you really polite and very professional and explain, well, unfortunately, I have something else that has been planned already. People over the time start learning to respect your time, because that is also a matter of you standing your ground and letting people know that this is me. I work, I have an agenda, I have a calendar, I have work time. I'll give you a funny example, because sometimes we go very far.
Yeah.
I'm married.
Sure.
So, like any woman, my wife will sometime ask me for things. And she will ask at the last minute.
Yeah.
And I have to tell her, you know me. I am a person that is very organized.
Yeah.
So you can't just go and commit to people that I'm going to go there without checking with me.
Yeah.
And over the years now, she has learned. Because she used to do that and it was irritating me. But now she learned that with Didier, I have to ask him in advance before I commit there. So you have to teach people how they should, work with you, because you don't want people to start hijacking your time. Your time, we take it lightly.
Yeah.
But that's the only commodity that we can't take it back.
You can't buy it back.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Should you tell people your goals, or should you not tell them your goals to protect your goals?
That's a good question.
Okay.
I know many people don't feel uncomfortable to share their goals. So my take on this is share your goals with a mentor. Share your goal with a coach. Share your goal with anybody that is pretty much supportive. Okay? Because you don't want to share your goal with somebody who's not going anywhere, that is going to look at you. Because remember, most of the time the jealousy or people criticizing you is because you are doing something that reflects back to them that they are not doing anything with their life.
Okay.
Now you better be careful. Those type of goals, you don't share them with those type of people, and you know them. You know those people who are usually negative, they criticize a lot. Don't share your goal with them, because they can't see what you see, first of all. And secondly, they do not have the experience to give you any kind of advice on how to go about your goal.
True.
Yeah, I think that's just to be safe. Don't share it with people that you don't will probably dump into your mind negativity, will tell you that it can't be done. Oh, you don't need that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What you need is a coach, and this is why you are here. Why would anyone need a coach? A life coach or a business coach like you?
That's a good question, because in life today, look at the picture. We are inundated with various platforms. You go on YouTube, you get a lot of information. You go on LinkedIn, you get a lot of information. Facebook, Instagram, all these platforms provide knowledgeable information for people to learn something. But unfortunately, those platforms cannot guide you on the right content, cannot understand your struggle very much. Okay? So where a coach come in is, I'll give you something that you can relate to. When you went to school, you had a teacher.
Sure.
What was the teacher doing? He was teaching you, and he was holding you accountable to your task.
True.
After you finished school, you went to varsity. You had a professor. They have to hold you accountable and keep you on track. Now, how do you expect to navigate the intricacy of life without having someone that can guide you? Because as we move into the workplace, we venture into business. If you rely on YouTube to give you the guidance, and I'm sorry, you're not going to get the right guidance. You can watch a Tony Robbins show, you can watch Jim Rohn, but those people will just give you the tip of the iceberg. A coach job is to firstly understand, what do you struggling with? What do you want to achieve? And how can we help you to discover the potential that is already within you? So what a coach does is he tell you, borrow on my belief that you can do it. So we guide people through a framework. I work with vice president of companies. I work with directors. The thing we do is, you will never believe it, those people also have their own struggle. Some of them have confidence problem. Some of them have challenge managing their team. So my job is to guide them on which approach they should take. If they want to become the next CEO, this is the path you need to take. This is so a coach is very important in the life of anybody. Just look at a soccer player. Look at anybody who perform at the best. They always have a coach. So how do you expect to perform at your best if you don't have anybody who can hold you accountable? Because you can look at yourself and say, I think I can do this. But the coach will look and say, no, this is too small. I believe you can do much more than that. You see? Because the coach job is to stretch you. Because by nature, we don't want to stretch ourselves. We want to play the comfort zone. We want to be safe. The coach job is to push you and say, try this. So at least, because the more you try, you start expanding. Your potential start coming out.
Absolutely. Very, very true. And talking about a coach, we have another coach all the way from Dubai. She's standing by, but she's a health coach. Okay. So let's take a listen to what she had to say. I want to hear what your health tips are for your clients, because I'm sure as you coach them, you also tell them, guys, put a bit of effort into, your health as well. So let's take a listen. Rihanna standing by all the way from Dubai. Good morning, Rihanna. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Uncle Zach, and to all of the Bogart Radio listeners. I am Rihanna, your health expert. And this week, I want to share a very short and quick tip with you. When you wake up in the morning, I want you to have a glass of water before your cup of coffee. The glass of water helps replenish your cells. It wakes up your nervous system, and it gets you hydrated first thing in the morning. The other tip that I would like to share with you is having an apple. It regulates your blood sugar. It wakes you up so much more than a cup of coffee, and it also provides you with all of the natural fibers that your body needs. So try these two things the first thing when you wake up in the morning. You will feel so much more focused, so much more fuller from the apple, and it will get your energy levels ready and kick-started for the day. Hope this tip was very helpful. I hope to speak to you guys next week.
Thank you very much, Rihanna. From one coach to the other coach, how important is taking care of our health?
That's a good question, Uncle Zach. Health is one of the key assets we have, because for you to stand even here, to run this show, you need to feel good, and you need to be healthy. If you're not healthy, you're not going to be able to be on this show. So health should be a priority. Sometimes we take it lightly. We push ourselves. We work extra hours. There is no substitute to your health, because once the health is damaged, you're going to be visiting the doctor every week or every day, and you're going to be under medication. So if you want to really look after you, take care of this kind of tip that the other coaches just shared. I mean, today in the YouTube and all these platforms, they give you a lot of nuggets. For example, I heard a lady who was saying the best way to avoid creating some sort of surge in your insulin in the morning up to 1 p.m., don't eat something. Just drink water and then have a green tea. because after one, then you can eat. And I know most people in the those who are involved in fasting, they do have this kind of window from 8 p.m. in the evening until the next day at 1 p.m. And that lady was explaining how she went into that journey. She lost weight, a lot of weight, by just doing that. And exercise also is part of your health. I mean, giving yourself a goal of being at the gym at least 3 or 4 times, even for an hour, walking on the treadmill. Because sometimes people think, no, I need to come and exercise, be intense. No, you can just be on the treadmill, just walking, listening
10 minutes,
to music.
15 minutes.
That's all it requires. 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, it's fine. Take some weight, a bit of exercise, and then you are done. You go in the sauna, you stay there for 5 minutes, then you take your shower. But you have to be intentional. You see, those are the kind of things that usually are not urgent, but they are important. And most people don't take care of those things until they get told by a doctor that, look, this is critical. My friend, you need to start changing your diet, what you're eating, and also pay attention to what you're eating. Absolutely. You can't be eating fast food every day from Monday to Saturday. No.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So there's another article you've written. I don't know if this is for the month of February, that speaks about why upgrading your identity and standards is essential for business success. Talk us through what this article or newsletter is all about.
Well, that's a good... these are very essential elements when you want to succeed in life that most of the time we overlook. So when someone starts a new year, they set new resolution, new goals. I want to lose weight. I want to do this. I want to do this. This is good. This is what I explain. Setting a goal, it's an intellectual exercise. Now, achieving a goal is a lawful process. So I will explain why. Achieving a goal does not only require you to wake up and do, taking action by, going to the gym or calling client or doing whatever. When you set a new goal, you're very excited the first month. And for some reason, when we get to February, March, the same excitement fade away. You look at it at the gym, go at the gym. When we start the first day of the year, it's fully packed until the end of January and sometimes mid-February. But go to the same gym in March, it's almost empty.
Very true.
The usual people who come there, you see them. What actually happened is a very simple explanation that I can give you is your identity. So your identity, as you have set the goal, you have not looked at your identity. Is my identity supportive of this goal? Because if my identity, I always see myself as someone who does not exercise. I like to indulge myself with fast food, drinking, and all those things. That identity is dormant. When I set the goal, it's an intellectual exercise, I get excited. But most of the time, every day, what regulate and govern everything we do is the subconscious mind. And your identity sits in the subconscious mind. Now, if I set this goal, very good, but the program that is in my subconscious mind do not support the goal.
It's not aligned.
Now, no alignment. So immediately what happens is, whatever I'm doing there, the program keep reminding me, this is not you. You like eating out. You like eating fast food. You like indulging yourself in drink. Then what happens is, after a month, I exercise and then I say, oh, this is too hard, man.
I'm not seeing any progress.
I'm not seeing any progress. I go back to my old self because that's my identity. So anytime we need to change anything, like if we set new goals, we have to look at our identity. How is the identity of the person that going to achieve this goal should be? I set a goal of $1 million, $2 million. How is the person that earned $1 million operate? Because I need to get that. I need to build a new model. of that person and embed it in me. You don't need to fight your old self. Fighting your old self is a waste of time. Build a new model. This is the new me. So all decisions I'm making every day will be based on my new me in 2026. My health, what I'm eating, the kind of action that I'm taking will be based on the person that I want to become. Your standard is what really help you to uphold your identity. Because if my standard is the person who never produce excellency, my standard is I never keep my word. My standard is I am always letting outside circumstances dictate how I should behave. Those will not help me to achieve my goal. So I must set new standard. For example, I'm not going to allow whatever happened outside impact me. I'm going to keep my word. I will always do something even if I'm not prepared, as long as what I'm doing is aligned with my goal. And I will focus only on things that move the needle, that will help me achieve my goal. That's become your standard. So that will definitely help you to achieve whatever you set your goal this year. Because if you don't change your identity and your standard, my friend, I have coached people, nothing will change.
So for those who actually do change their standards and change their identity, how do they defend the new look, the new identity? Like, for example, you start going to gym and people say, hey, you have already, don't bombard us with your gym thing. You know how people can be so negative. Like, now that you're going to gym, you don't want to drink with us. Or now that you're a gym person, you don't want to eat out anymore, or whatever. So how do you make sure that within your close circles, people don't move you off the track? Because half of the time, for example, I joke around with some guys in the gym. I'll say that I can almost spot a newly married guy because he becomes like his wife in the first few years. He sits, he eats, and he watches TV, and he knows all the shows, the soapies, because, he's newly in a relationship. So as she maybe has kids, gains weight, so does the guy gain weight because he sits on the couch, he eats with her, and he's adopted her personality. Now the guy says, I want to go to gym. But the wife says, but are you trying to look young for some sexy chick or something? So not just the wife, but like your family will say things because you now have changed your identity. You no longer believe in the things that you used to believe in. So how do you defend yourself against that?
It's challenging, I have to say, because you have to stand up now.
Be a
because
man.
That's where you need to really stand your ground and say, these are my new standard. Okay? And if you have a problem with it, so be it. You have to be your own person. You see, it's really amazing how we live our entire life paying too much attention to what other people think.
So true.
And the reality is, there are studies, I don't remember exactly the name of the study that was conducted. They came to the conclusion that every individual on a daily basis spend 90% of the time thinking about themselves. So in fact, when you think that somebody is preoccupied by your look, whatever you're eating, they don't even care.
True.
They are busy with their own problem.
Yeah.
So we have to learn to stand up and say, look, this is me. And if you really a true friend, if you're really a true siblings, whoever, because family member, you can't change them. But a friend, if somebody has a problem with you becoming that version, then it's up to you to decide to reduce the interaction with that individual. And if you need to find yourself new friends, so be it. Because at the end of the day, it's about you. Okay? Let not forget one thing. You are here on this earth for a journey. And you're going to leave this earth alone. Nobody's going to go, even your wife will not go in your grave.
No.
So you have to stand your ground. This is me. I am doing this. And if somebody has a problem with it, that's fine. But this is who I am now.
Absolutely. And you go into detail about the practical strategies to upgrade leadership identity. So, I mean, you're talking here of people that are like business executives and maybe business owners, but I can almost be assured that this conversation is about everyone. But how different is it for the people who are up here, your top 10%, top 1%, who are high achievers, high performers? How quickly do they adopt to changing their identity than people who are below the 10%?
Good question. So people who are below the 10% or the 1%, the biggest challenge in changing their identity, they are so in love with comfort.
Okay.
Because changing an identity requires you to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So they are so in love with being comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I do things this way. Why do you want me to change? I always love to have my coffee this way. I always in the morning have to have blah, blah, blah. That is you choosing comfort. And for you to shift, it's a matter of a decision. Remember, if somebody walk in this office and say there's fire outside, all of us will leave this office. We make a quick decision. And sometimes, let's say, for example, there is an advert on TV that says, for now on, stop using this product because this may have some repercussion in your health.
Yeah.
You will make a quick decision. Stop. It's the same way when you need to change your identity. Make a firm decision. I am not going to tolerate this anymore. I want to change my life. Because at the end of the day, look at your result.
Yeah.
Because the results speak louder. You look at your result. I'm not moving anywhere. My bank account, my income is still the same. I am not doing anything. Then make a firm decision. Because if you can't make a firm decision, nothing will change. It's from a decision that things start changing. You decide who you want to become. You start acting like that person. And of course, that person will now become part of you. Okay? Because you can't you can't expect to change things by just doing the same thing over and over. Now, the top 1% understand this rule very well.
Yeah.
They know if next year I need to double my income, I need to become a different person. So I need to change immediately the decision that I'm making. I need to change my marketing campaign. I need to change our product line. So they don't even argue when it comes to those things because they are so used to being comfortable in an uncomfortable zone. Because they understand my growth lies in being uncomfortable every day. Because if I'm comfortable, it's a red flag. That's how they see being comfortable. It's a red flag. Once I start settling in and say, oh no, we've always done this way, it's bad. Because look at business, how it evolves fast. Every year, there is a change. So you need to adjust. If you keep doing the same thing over and over, you're going to probably file for bankruptcy.
Very true.
Yeah.
We've seen businesses that have closed down, like Kodak and many other big brands that Nokia, I mean, there's others that really just could not evolve as quickly enough. So I want to go back to your document where you speak about raise your minimum standards. And in it, you talk about high-performing leaders don't rise their goals. They fall to their standards. Audit your current standards by examining, number one, your time management. How important is time management, and what are the practical ways do you say to someone who's watching and listening how to manage their time? Okay,
good question. So time management is, like I said previously, we can't purchase back the time. We all have 24 hours. Bill Gates has 24 hours. Elon Musk has 24 hours. But in those 24 hours, they make major decisions that move the business forward. Now, you have to be really intentional in doing an audit. An audit is very simple. Give yourself a target from Monday to Sunday. When you wake up in the morning, start monitoring what you do. Check, just be honest. Don't shy away. Write down everything you do. You go and get a coffee, good. You get yourself on the phone for 10 minutes, write it down. On Sunday, just take the same document where you wrote your activity And you can see where you waste your time. You can see it. It's not even something that someone need to explain to you. You will see yourself. I'm spending 3 hours here, and today with the phone, iPhone actually gives you a review of your week.
Yeah.
How many hours has been spent on social media and blah, blah, blah. So you have to be really intentional. Now look at it and say, this I must eliminate from my day-to-day task. This I must delegate to someone. You leading a team, you are owner of a business. There are certain things that you need to learn to delegate. Otherwise, your effectiveness will be impacted. So, from a tool I shared just earlier, the Eisenhower table, the 80-20% rule. So, just identify every day your 20% activity, which if you do them in your job, you're gonna get more result and your boss will give you a promotion. In your business, we both know. What are those activities? One of them, critical, is sell. You have to sell. If you're not selling, my friend, there's no income.
There's no business.
So selling, marketing, those are the very important activity. So you as a business need to check how many people have now looking at our adverts. How many of them are we converting as a lead? You have to check those things.
Yeah.
Okay? And look at the product. What are the customer feedback on our product? Are they happy with what we have? What are they suggesting? If they suggest us to improve on 1, 2, 3, let's create a new product to cater for this market. So managing your time should be a priority, because we can't buy the time back. We can't take it back. When it's gone, it's gone. Yeah, I hope I've answered your question.
You did, absolutely. And I mean, I'm just looking at some of the points you make here, very interesting points. I mean, there's, I think maybe let's jump onto the boundaries and expectations. You briefly spoke about the boundaries and expectations. It's basically just telling people who your new identity is, and maybe go further into that if there's anything you've missed from what you said earlier on, just on boundaries and expectations.
So telling people who you become and what you stand for is very important.
Yeah.
But then the most important thing is you do not renegotiate with yourself.
Yeah.
Okay? Since you have said, this is who I am, you must keep yourself in check. Because your old you will always come through. Remember, it's an identity problem. The old you will always come through and say, oh, come on, let's be safe. We usually don't do no. This is a no.
Yeah.
I like Kobe, the late Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
He used to use a term, he says, when I make a commitment, I do not renegotiate with myself. It must be done. So no matter how I feel, no matter which day of the week, I have to do it. That's where your standard come in. Because you see, most people like motivation.
Yeah.
They get excited. Motivation will just move you a little bit, but your discipline and your standard that you have set will move you forward. Whether you like it or not, it must be done.
Absolutely. We're almost running out of time. We've got about 7 minutes to go. So I just want to touch on just one more issue. Aligning your daily actions with the new identity. This is the last point you raise in your newsletter. We briefly did touch on it, and this is where you actually look at your goals and aligning them on a day-to-day. And you did give us those tools, by the way. You said it's the 4-quadrant one and the 80-20 rule one. And what else can a person really do to make sure that your daily activities are aligned to your goals?
Keep yourself in check every day. Have a diary. For me, the diary is the best tool.
Yes.
The diary is a reflection of what you do every day, where your focus is and where you get distracted. Okay? And ask yourself very honest questions. Did I act today like the person that I want to be? Did I manage my time like the person that I want to be? Okay? Did I display the attitude of a person that I want to be? You see, because every time you want to change, you want to make a decision, the whole self will come and tell you, no, this is uncomfortable. Don't do it. Keep doing what you used to do. Now, the question should always be, no, I'm a new person. I'm a new person. But this is a running conversation between you and yourself.
Very true.
Nobody else is listening to that conversation.
Yeah.
It's only you running that conversation. That's where the battle usually is lost.
The battle
because
of the mind.
once that battle is lost on that ground, it's easy now to go back to your old self.
Yeah.
So keep yourself in check every day. Be honest. Today, I didn't do well. You also need to be gentle with yourself.
Yeah.
Remember, change takes time. It's not a matter of today I've made a decision, immediately I've become. No. There will be day where you will slide back to the old self. Just make sure that you give yourself a grace and say, okay, yesterday I didn't do well. Tomorrow I'm going to do better. As you keep improving yourself by 1%, you will become that person. At the end of the year, people will look and say, "Ooh, Uncle Zach, it's like I'm dealing with a different person here.
Yeah.
You're no longer the same." Yeah.
Absolutely. Just a few last words from your side. I mean, you deal with high value men, high value clients that really are like business executives and so on. Just your words of encouragement to anybody who wants to get onto that top 10% of top 10 earners, top 1%. I mean, I was actually very surprised to see what constitutes the top 10%. Like, I really used to think that the top 10% were people that make a lot of money. Meanwhile, it's like it's not that heavy. But how do you get from an ordinary person to the top 10% and eventually get to the 1%?
Good question. So the top 10%, the top 1% were sometime that average person.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
They made a decision to change their life. And now they upgrade the standard, they upgrade their identity, and they move to the top 10%, and from there they move to the top 1%.
Yeah.
So if they've been able to do that, you can do it. Anything that any human being is doing, you can do it. Remember, because sometimes we think those people are, they have super talent. No.
Or special.
No. Everybody on this earth has been gifted. It's just how we use our gift. If you don't use your gift, you will never reach your potential. I mean, imagine the first person who came up with the idea of this bottle. Probably, I can tell you, people laugh at him.
Yeah.
Make a bottle for what? For water.
I've got a glass.
Today, he owned the IP of this. How many bottles are manufactured every day and every hour?
Very true.
So he's a billionaire. So you just need to look at yourself and say, if that person can do it, I can do it. He's not super smart. The only thing he's got that you don't have is courage, and he is going after his purpose. Yeah.
Very true. Mr. Didier, this has been amazing. Would love to have you once again. I think as we prepare the gents for the year ahead and also to keep them on check, so would love to have you once again to come and join us and just share your knowledge as you have. And of course, we're all striving for that top 10, 1% to top 1%. We're all striving because I know everybody wants to be better. But I think the problem is the tools. And like you say, we're not prepared to change our identities. And I talk about myself. There's things that I want to get rid of that are from last year. And the old me always says, but you were comfortable there, Chief, but you used to enjoy yourself there. So it's always a battle of the mind all the time. So I really do appreciate it. And how can people get a hold of you when they need your executive business coaching skills to help them get to the next level?
Yeah, they can come on land on my webpage, which is www.leadinfluence.co.za, or they can reach me on my mobile phone 071-473-5508. My email is didiermbayo@leadinfluence.co.za or info@leadinfluence.co.za. That's how they can reach me. Yeah.
And you're available, accessible, and you're always responsive.
Yes, I am responsive. If I'm not responsive, it means I'm in a meeting.
Yeah.
But usually when I get out of a meeting, I'll always respond to people. That's a simple tip that I've learned in life.
Yeah.
You're not too busy to not respond to people. Whoever trying to call you, they may have something that they want to share. So just give them the opportunity to get a response. Don't just ignore people's call or message.
I really appreciate you, sir. And I've seen how you are in terms of your communication skills. You're very responsive, and I appreciate that, because often people always say they're so busy. And I'm like, yes, we're all busy, but you can never be too busy to respond to messages that are very critical. So I appreciate you, sir, and we look forward to having you again. And thank you for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Uncle Zach.
We appreciate you, sir. All right, do get a hold of him, and he has shared his contact details, and of course, Mr. Didier, and he is a business coach, and do seek a coach. And I can tell you this for free: every single professional who is an athlete, who is a sports person, has a coach, and we all need coaches. And I really appreciate you for your time. We really do. And we'll be back again next week. May God be with you and take care of you. Murimuko, let it rain, man.